Okay, so I did order a thing to where I can do this better, but I forgot it at home. So let me just tell you how my past week has gone. So, by the time y'all see this, because I have a few videos that were from a couple weeks ago, so it may be a while before you see this. But anyway, last Thursday, I get up, get ready, get to my car, and started. It's running fine. We go down the road. I start to speed up. I get to about 42. And all of a sudden my car starts slowing down. No matter how much I push the pedal, no nothing. It literally felt like something just, the connection was gone all of a sudden. Like no matter, there was no give on the pedal, no nothing. It was like nothing. I'm like, well, crap. So I let go. I can see somebody's coming up behind me, and I'm like, well, I mean, they're a ways off, but they're coming up. So I'm like, okay, maybe I can get this to work before they get here. And it feels like it feels, words are hard. It feels like it catches. And so I'm like, okay, well, I'll start to push on the gas a little bit again, and it starts speeding back up a little bit. And then all of a sudden it starts slowing down again. I'm like, crap. Okay, pull over, turn flashers on. Slow down. As soon as the car stops, the car dies. Crap. Okay, well, so I tried to call my dad, because he's awake at that time, but I think he was at work and he wasn't close to his phone. But yeah, so he doesn't answer. So I call my husband and I'm like, hey. Actually, he didn't answer the first time either. I called him again and he answered. And I said, so the car died. Which by the time I called him, I started it back up and it was running. It was idling, which was, I thought, kind of odd since once the car stopped, it died, but whatever. I told him what happened. I was like, should I just go to work and go slow? Just try to stay under 40? Or he was like, no, you should just come home. You haven't made it that far. You know, it's normally a 25-minute drive to work. And I made it not even 5 minutes down the road. So he's like, just come home. It's like, okay. So I get home and literally I turn around, stay under 40, car runs perfectly fine. And I'm like, okay, there's something going on here. I don't know, whatever. Get home. My dad calls back. I tell him what's going on and he's like, well, I'd say go ahead and call the mechanic and see what they think and maybe get the tow truck to pick it up and take it and everything. And I was like, yeah. Okay, well, should I call now or should I probably wait a couple hours? He's like, no, you should probably wait. It's too early. And I was like, yeah, it is. Okay. Well, I'll call work and then I'll call him. So I can't call work until between 7 and 10 in the morning. So 7, it was a little after 7 and I went ahead and called. I was like, hey, my car died on the way to work and I'm gonna have to get it put into the shop, so I'm not gonna be there today. And they're like, okay. So I called the mechanic and they're like, well, yeah, you should probably have it towed in. I was like, well, you know, the main mechanic said that he knows the guy that could do it for cheaper. You know, can I go ahead and use him? He's like, yeah, I can give you his number. I was like, well, okay then. So I call him, tell him what's going on and everything. So he comes over and gets my car. He leaves and they take it and I'm like, well, okay, let's see what happens. And after all of that, it was probably 10:30 in the morning, something like that. I'm like, you know what? I'm tired. I'm gonna take a nap. That nap turned into almost 4 hours of sleep. Obviously, I needed it. I was just like, okay, super tired. So very tired. But yes, I'm like, okay. Next day comes, I don't hear anything. So I'm like, well, I guess I'll call. So I call him and I'm like, hey, have you figured anything out? Have you touched it? You know, because I don't know how many cars are in front of mine. I don't know. So it may take them a few days to get to it, or they could already be working on it. I have no idea. They haven't told me. And I didn't show up there. It was towed there, you know. So I call and they're like, well, what exactly happened? And so I tell them, they're like, okay, because we've driven it and we can't find anything wrong with it. We'll try again tomorrow and see if we can find something. I was like, well, okay. So, next day, it's the weekend, Saturday. And don't hear anything. Well, long story, slightly shorter. My dad's like, hey, I got the car over here. The Firebird that don't really drive, I usually try to drive it, once a week or so, but with me hunting, I'm not driving it nearly as much. Sorry, tired. Oh, another thing I forgot was, I decided that I was going to try and set up the Christmas decorations, so I was taking down the Halloween decorations. Well, Brandon, my husband, was not feeling too well, so he wasn't able to help me move stuff around, so I was like, well, I'm just not going to do it by myself. Well, he's still sick. It's been a little over a week now. But anyway, so my dad, he's like, well, I got the Firebird, do you want to go ahead and borrow it? And I was like, well, these storms are about to come in. I haven't driven the Firebird, and since I was 16, which is more than 10 years ago. I don't know. I need the car so that I can get to work. But I drive back roads and I'm constantly seeing all sorts of animals. Possums, squirrels, rabbits, deer. I actually saw a coyote yesterday morning. But anyway, so I'm just like, that car is really low to the ground, and I don't want to take a chance of ruining it, but I do need it to get to work. You know what, okay, I need to get groceries too, so Sunday, he comes and picks me up after he gets off work, because his days off work are Friday and Saturday, so Sunday he comes and picks me up after work, and we go all the way to his house, which is an hour and a half away. I get the Firebird, tell him thank you, he tells me all the different quirkiness about the car, because, every car has its own quirks that are normal things, and so I'm like, okay, well, I'll go ahead and drive the Firebird. I was like, well, I need to stop at Walmart so that I can get groceries and everything, so on the way back, I stop at Walmart, I do the grocery shopping by myself, load it into the car, and then head home, Sorry, so very tired. But I get home and I'm just like, okay, get it all unloaded. It works. I drive it to work, and let me tell you the anxiety I had. Because whenever I leave, obviously it's dark. The sun is just now starting to come up. But I leave the house and it's dark outside. There's stars out, it makes it harder to see. Well, my wonderful dad, and I really do mean that, he is wonderful. He has the darkest legal tint on the windows that you can have, which makes it so much harder to see out of whenever it's dark outside. I'm like, crap. Okay, so trying to see these animals and crappy back roads, trying to miss potholes and all sorts of stuff so that I don't scrape the car on anything, and I'm just like, I need my car back. This anxiety has got me stressed. It's a usually 25-minute drive to work, but when I normally drive, 45 miles an hour most of the way. And in the Firebird, I'm driving 30 to 35 because I'm like, I can't do this. I can't. There's too many animals, and where my car, Ford Escape, I was like, pretty much any animal can come out besides a coyote or a deer, and we're gonna be okay. I'm still gonna try and dodge it, but we're gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. A Firebird, a dang squirrel could come out and cause issues. So I'm like, I can't handle this. Okay. So I go to work, and literally, was it Tuesday? No, it was Wednesday morning. I go, which mind you, my yard majorly floods whenever it rains. So there was no way I was taking the Firebird back to, into my driveway area, into my yard. Like, no. That car would get stuck. And it's not happening. So I messaged my neighbors, asked them if I could park it in their driveway. And they're like, yeah, just make sure, we have room to get out and everything. I was like, okay, thank you. You're awesome. So, my dad's car is parked at my neighbor's house. Which means I have to wake up early and go out in the freezing cold, walk all the way down my driveway to get to their house, to get to the car. So I'm already absolutely freezing cold each morning that I've went to work. So Monday and Tuesday, I went to work. Had to do the same thing those days. On Wednesday, I get out there, and I try to start the car, and the battery's dead. Why do cars hate me? I don't get it. I don't. Anyway, so the battery's dead. I call my dad, and I'm like, so, your car won't start. He's like, well, what do you mean it won't start? I was like, it won't start. I'm sitting in the car, like, it won't start. I'm gonna try again in a few hours, since I have some time before I have to call into work. But it won't start. And, so I wait a couple hours and I come back out, because I was like, maybe if it warms up like a few degrees, get some sun on it, it might work. It's probably not gonna work, but maybe. So I try again. It doesn't work. I'm like, yeah. So I call into work, tell them, and I'm like, yeah, my dad's car won't start. So I won't be coming into work again. Oh, also, Monday was like some major storms, and we thought that there was going to be a tornado coming to us. My husband being sick, I was like, you know what? I'm going to stay home till the storms pass, because they're supposed to pass at like 9 o'clock in the morning. So, obviously, I'm going to be a couple hours late to work, but I'm going to stay. Actually, it was supposed to pass at like 7, but it took forever. But either way, I was like, I'm going to be a little bit late to work, but I'm going to stay, because if you need to go to the shelter, you're going to have to get all 4 kids in there. And you're sick, you're going to need help. So I stayed, so I only had like half a work day Monday. And then had work Tuesday, off Wednesday. Like, good Lord. Okay. So, I call work, and they're like, okay, well, I said, yeah, it won't start. Mine's still in the shop. She goes, wait, your car is still in the shop. I said, yeah. She was like, well, did they find anything wrong with it? I said, no. No, they haven't figured out what's wrong with it. They haven't found anything wrong with it. They literally drove it, I think, 4 different times. No issues whatsoever. So, because I'm off Wednesday, my dad is able to come over after work and pick me up and go pick my car up and then come back. And so I'm like, okay. So we leave my house, go to pick my car up, come back, park my car. He has a little battery jumper cable. It's not jumper cables, but it's like a battery powered thing. I don't know what it's called. It's like a little battery pack. But anyway, he gets it to start with that. And he said, well, I'm going to go ahead and drive it, see what it's doing. If it's just the battery or what else is happening, you go ahead and drive mine. I was like, okay, which they're both his, but you know. So I drive his and follow him home. Again, an hour and a half away. We drive all the way there. And he's like, yeah, there's nothing wrong with it. Everything else is fine. When we pull up, and he turns it off and tries to start it again, and it's completely dead. He was like, this battery is completely dead. Like, it should have charged up that far to be able, at least to be able to start it again. And it didn't. And it's a 7-month-old battery. So he's not too happy about it, which I don't blame him. But I was just like, okay, I don't know. But yeah, so after we got my car back and we drive it, he's like, so how did it work? I was like, it runs smoother than it has in a long time. I don't know, I guess it just wanted to ride on a dolly or something. I have no idea. It just wanted to take a ride around town without having to drive. We needed a little break, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, so we get to his house, drop the Firebird off, and then he has to drive me back to my house, and then he's gonna drive home. So I feel so bad for him having to do all of this. I'm like, I wish that I could pay you. I wish that I could pay you back for everything that you've like ever done for me. Oh, okay. But yeah, so I'm back at work as of yesterday, Thursday. So Thursday and Friday I get to work now. But this past week has been crazy. Not to mention, so my husband was sick. I mentioned that. Well, starting 2 days ago, so Wednesday, not only was he sick, maybe it was Tuesday, I don't know. Anyway, but not only was he sick, but our oldest and our 2 youngest are sick. So 4 out of the 6 of us are sick. And I'm like, I cannot take a chance of getting sick. Like, I can't be getting sick. We're already having issues with, you know, me having to take off because the car. I can't take off because I'm sick too. Thankfully I'm not. But literally, my husband's like, just be careful, stay away from us, don't let the babies climb on you or anything, because we can't do that. And I was like, yeah, I know. Well, then the babies climb on me, and literally the youngest one decides to spit into my face, like blue raspberries, but still, spit into my face twice. And then later on, she's trying to snuggle with me, and she has her face like right on my face, breathing directly into my nose and mouth. And I'm like, well, I guess if I'm gonna get sick, I'm gonna get sick now. Which thankfully, again, I'm not. I do have some allergy stuff going on, and who knows, maybe I am getting sick now. I don't know, because that's kind of how it started with them, but hopefully not. I don't know. But next week is Thanksgiving break for the kids, so they're all out of school anyway, but oh, it has been a week. It has. It's also been a while since I posted. I apologize for that. I'm going to try and start editing more and making more videos again. I'm not going to say daily. I'd like to do it daily, but I'm not going to say daily because obviously I don't know how long it's been since the last one, and everything's been going crazy. You know, we thought about trying to trade this car in, but I don't make enough money and have good enough credit to try and trade it in. Not to mention, whenever they tried to give an offer, it was $100, and that's like, no, we'll keep them as a backup and just get another car. But the one car that we could actually afford was already in process of being purchased. So I don't know what we're gonna do, but I know God's got this. He's got it. He's gonna help us out. And I know something big's gonna happen soon, so thank you guys so much for watching and just taking an interest in me and my life and my family. You guys are awesome. I'll see you later.